Wow. What happened there?
Oh, it was still feeding the input to sine, but
Ah.
they were meant for this. So exponential with and you see here I just had a bunch of these.
We can see.
Okay, so exponential with a negative exponent, with a positive exponent it just shoots off into the sky, but with a negative exponent it decays pretty quickly, right? So what were these? So if I increase this, that's not very evident. Okay. So you can make it sharper by scaling it because you're bringing the result of the exponential down. That was scaling the input. What I just did. Let's see if I do 30, it's like that. 50, it's like that. So as the input gets larger, because you're using a larger number times a negative exponent, exponential will go down like so.
See, it also takes a much larger number to make it. The closer it gets, the tighter it gets. It seems like it takes a much larger number in order to make it move. Whereas you're from 10 to 50 was a pretty big jump, but from 50 to 100 is a.
That's it. That's with one. So.
Yeah. Wow.
And what's this next number? Output scale factor. So this will increase the height a little bit. And you see it here. It's not exactly at one. It crosses the y-axis or somewhere up there. And last one was the y-offset. So this is 0.2. So that just shifts it up a little bit. And in the laser, I'm using that to interpolate between bright white at the center, so slightly more than one value. Like in Corona, you pass 111 for white, right? And I'm starting from a number that might be more than one, so it's very bright, and interpolating it with the fill color. So it's just white, color scaled by the fill color. And I'm interpolating between that bright white and the fill color using this kind of curve. So it starts out very bright and then quickly goes down to the fill color. So we see that also in here.
Were you just interested in this effect in general, or were you working on it for a specific purpose?
I am using it for
something you can't talk about.
Like I could, I just don't know if I can.
It looks like a lightsaber.
Yeah, I realized I was trying to think how I could kind of make it like the guy was swinging it around, but I'll just get distracted, and who knows how long I'll take doing that. I'm using it for a laser effect, and I'll see if I can show that really quickly.
Is like a shooting laser, or like a laser weapon, or like a handheld laser weapon, almost like a.
So here we have our little squirrel, and there's a UFO flying around. This guy goes around 5 times or so. I didn't tune it. I guess he's quick. So there we go. So that's the effect right now.
He's just lasering the crap out of that squirrel.
That is some massive overkill.
Yeah. Okay.
Star Wars versus the local squirrel.
Yeah.
Squirrel's still standing.
He says, "Bring it."
Squirrel kebabs are up next.
And I was doing that before with just a couple of rects and using additive blending and everything, but why not? Why not make an effect?
That's much more fun.
Yeah.
So now the next custom shader effect is the flying fur effect.
Again?
Fur is expensive.
Fur is expensive.
The way it's typically done is sending a lot of rays into a mesh, and like 20 or 100 rays, and then figuring out all the interactions.
Your comments, sir, tell me that
recording
you
it at 1 frame per second and then upping it later when you play it back.
You could save the images, but and use them, but which I may investigate. But yeah, for itself is expensive.
I see that you have done research in this area.
Well, the hand gestures really helped out there. That was really making it clear for me.
Oh, you should see me doing geometry stuff. We're this far along the axis and this far.
I just want to ask everybody out here, 4th episode, I don't know, maybe I'm late in the game here, but are you guys having like flashbacks of high school as we go here where we're talking about like math and like, I feel like I'm sitting at my desk again?
Yeah. Steve blew my mind just a moment ago when he said when you multiply two decimal numbers together or whatever, that they get smaller. The answer gets smaller. And I was like, what does it? I was like,
it's been a long time since I had to think about that.
I've never thought of that before. I guess that's true. Never really thought about it because you always multiply something by something, it just gets bigger. But I was like,
those conundrums high schoolers are going to get.
Like what? Mind blown.
Should I go into the shadows or?
No, I don't think we're gonna have time. We
got. Can you show it?
But show it. Yeah, but show it. Preview it for next time.
This will probably be something really quick I could do next time when we do it. But
cool.
Oh, so there we go.
Yeah, and is this related to the form discussion itself, or is this something just you want to work on in general?
I played with it a little bit because some of the stuff you wouldn't necessarily need a multipass to do this, but that's why I added some coloring of the shadow, and this is using Matt Webster's shadow example from the code exchange, and I ran with it a little bit
and just for people like myself who don't know exactly what I'm looking at, what's happening there?
It's doing a back on.
I know I waited until you took it off the screen.
It's doing a Gaussian blur on some objects. So there's a black object that's slightly wider than this image, and with that we make a shadow. Then in addition to that, we had another pass to mess with the shadow itself, so adding color and everything. And what this thing is a light source, and it's adjusting the angle of this shadow according to the angle of the light source.
Okay.
It's coming through more like a glow on the video.
It is, and it changes from yellow to green for me.
Oh, that was just me playing with the effect.
Right.
It's originally black.
But I can see that the color, the shading or whatever, moves opposite of whatever the light source is. So I'm assuming the shadow is moving away from, in the opposite direction of the light source, and then you were applying color to it. So, but at first glance, I was like, I don't know what's going on there.
I mean, just shifting that angle isn't probably not enough to justify a multipass, but it's an example. It shows what's going on. So
Steven, how's performance on device? Because Gaussian Blur is, pretty expensive.
It is. It's already 2 pass, and then there's a 3rd pass for this thing.
So have you run it on a device or a reasonably older device?
It doesn't do well?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. Have you run to see what it drops in terms of frames, or is it just feel?
I haven't measured it, but yeah, I've definitely noticed that. And Renee chimed in that thread and said, yeah, it's slow. So I don't know. I haven't seen it on a newer one, but I guess you guys are saying it's still that way? Or? If so, I might have some guesses, but that's speculation.
I mean, I would say you can do a Gaussian blur on like a latest generation iOS device, but even then, I mean, you're gonna proceed with caution for sure.
Yeah. yeah, and then there's other things to discuss in multipass itself. So it's just a way to give an example.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about that offline then. We'll work out the details around that discussion and bring some examples and stuff. That'd be cool. I think that'd be a good conversation. So I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I've learned a lot today. I don't know that I could actually go out and do it by myself without some sort of hand holding or serious focus, but I at least am furthered along in my understanding. I mean, when we started doing the whole conversation about shaders, I got I'd say 1% of the conversation, and now I feel like I'm at least 2.5, 3%, at least 10% of the conversation now. I'm like I got it. I'm good.
At this point, we have repetition from earlier.
Yeah, you've done a great job of tying them all, stitching them all together, because that helps. That definitely helps. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you haven't watched these shows previously, you definitely need to go to youtube.com/CoronaGeek and check out the previous sessions that we've had. I mean, this is 153, so we've had four or five sessions now, like you said, Ed. So we've got, if you go back, 4 or 5, maybe 6 shows, you can definitely see where we picked up on the conversation and start from there. So, all right, guys. Well, that's it for the day, I guess. Be back here next Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific to talk all about mobile app development using Corona SDK. Until then, have a great week. Happy coding.